When the groups were initially formed, each member had to choose the role they wished to take for the film. Once started, each member had to then try and compete for the job role. The job process included creating a short show reel and application for the job roles you wanted. The application had to include 3 job roles you would want, along with a description stating why you believe this role would be right for you. I applied for the role of camera op, location scout, and lighting engineer. As I was fairly inexperienced on a film set, I decided to choose these roles as they seemed fairly simple, and I had dabbled in camera work and lighting previously and enjoyed them, specifically lighting. As for location scout, I believed it would be a great experience for any future films I might be a part of, as every film needs a location, and learning how to choose the right location as well as negotiating one is an incredibly useful skill. I also did some online research into what type of roles the location scout would be expected to fulfill, in order to better my understanding of the job. For the application process, these roles had to be listed in order which you'd most like to do. I chose lighting engineer as my first choice, followed by location scout, then camera op. The showreel I created was the first showreel I'd ever made, so at the time I wasn't too sure about what I was doing. Thankfully, the showreel didn't have to be too long, as I struggled to find enough clips that related to my chosen roles. In order to create a decent showreel, I researched what stereotypically goes into a good reel, and watched some example clips online. From this I learned the importance of visuals in a showreel, and how to make them interesting but not too distracting. Once mine and everyone else's demo reels had been sent in, we were called for interviews, where other members of the group asked questions based on our roles to see if we were suitable. After all the applications were considered, I was given the role of location scout and camera op. I was slightly disheartened that I did not get the lighting role, as I found it to be the most interesting role I had done on set. But I was more than happy with these other jobs, as location scouting was something I'd always wanted to try, and I was glad I had a chance to improve my camera skills. The fact I had 2 roles also gave me a great sense of responsibility, which made me want to try harder in this project than I had in previous group projects. The role of location scout is to find and negotiate different areas for the crew to use during filming. This involves getting into contact via email or phone with the different locations in order to try and find out what their policies were when it comes to filming. This includes finding out how many people they allow on the premises, how many rooms in a building we can use, if they have access to electricity, and if they have the correct facilities. Once initial contact had been made, a location scout should visit the area in order to get a better look of the location and decide whether it is ideal or not. In order to fulfill the role of location scout correctly, myself and the rest of the location team got together frequently to contact different places, either through email or calling. We designed emails accordingly and sent them to numerous places after checking different websites to see if they were compatible. We also all selected and researched 3 properties ourselves independently in order to give us as many options as possible. The original script required a large old manor house, something that was not easy to find. Thankfully, we found a website that showed plenty of locations that allowed filming. One promising property was the Hinton Ampner, a large manor house owned by the National Trust. We got in contact with the property, and a group of us went over to examine the area and negotiate with the site manager. The site seemed very promising. It had the exact look we wanted, and the surrounding grassy fields also matched what we were looking for in property, as we could use them for other parts of the script. The pricing for the area also seemed very reasonable, so the property seemed perfect. This seemed like our first major victory and allowed us time to focus on other areas in the script. These areas included more grasslands and smaller houses, which turned out to be not too difficult as we mostly used open parks and hideout tents. Our only real major setback was the Hinton Ampner increasing their prices as the deadline for the filming drew closer. This was problematic as we could not afford the prices they were offering, so we had to decline. This was a major setback as we were in a panic to find a replacement building. In the end, a replacement building was not necessary due to a change in the script, but this showed me just how easy it is for a film to hit a large problem so close to the filming date, and proves that there should always be backups in place. My second job role was the camera operator. This was a role I had some prior experience with, so I felt more comfortable about it when it came to shooting. The role of a camera op is to manage the camera equipment as well as handle it when it comes to shooting. The camera op should also assist in the setting up of the camera. They also work with the ADs, who assist them when needed, whether this be with positioning a shot or handling equipment. In order to fulfill the responsibilities of this role, I worked closely with the DOP and director in order to make sure that the shots I took were as close to their vision as possible. I also attended a training class with other crew members that was designed to show us how to handle more advanced equipment, including the slider and monitor. I was selected to be camera op for the first day of shooting. Originally this was going to be the 3rd day, but due to unforeseen circumstances involving a member of the cast, the schedule was altered slightly. The day went very well, and I believe I enhanced my camera skills greatly, as well as meeting other members of the crew whom I had not had much interaction with prior. Overall, I believe I did well in my time as a location scout. I believe I was helpful in finding properties and assisting in contacting the various venues. I believe I worked well in keeping in communication with the rest of the team and keeping up to date with location information. However, in terms of improvement, I feel as though I could have possibly been more hands-on with the location searches, and also I could have been more involved throughout the pre-production with location hunting, as I feel as though I worked hard at it during the beginning and ending of pre-production, but I feel I lulled during the middle section. As with camera operating, I feel as though I did well with handling and filming with the camera, and I did well with using the equipment I'd never used before, such as the shoulder mount and slider. I feel as though this experience helped me refine my camera skills in general and taught me how to work better in a production team. However, I do feel as though I could have pushed my opinions on shots harder, as I feel as though I didn't put as much input in as I could have. For the production overall, I feel as though we worked very well as a team. Everyone seemed to enjoy their jobs and worked hard at them, with nobody really complaining about the role they were given. The group worked well under pressure and time constraints, as well as demonstrating great adaptability. For example, with the late changes in script and location. I feel as though the production could have been tighter when it came to timing, as departments, myself included, seemed a bit slow with their roles at times. Communication was also slightly messy, as there were various different communication chats that got very confusing to keep up with. However, I believe these small issues were just a product of the group working in such a large team, which I'm sure not many of us had done before, and these issues could be easily rectified in any future production.